What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. Before we get started today, I did want to bring up a couple of things, some behind-the-scenes stuff, and a lot of you that watch multiples of my series already know where this is going, but especially for the Inspiration series, some people only watch this one, so I wanted to rehash it. Just as a quick update, some of my other episodes this week, and including this one, may or may not feel a little bit off or a little rushed, and that's partially because they were. I did all of my episodes this week in about a day, because there was extenuating circumstances in the background. We had a death in the family recently. My grandfather's old war vet buddy, who basically was like a uncle to my mother and her siblings, had passed away. He was 97, but all of the family was kind of like, good for you, he made it that far, but he really wasn't doing that good. So in a way, it was a blessing, but it's still no fun. So my parents are going to the funeral, and that cut into my schedule, which is fine. I have no problem with it. I'm just kind of clarifying and letting everybody know. And because some of you may not be aware of this, but my dog has a medical situation at the moment where he has to be watched all the time. He's got a sore in his foot he won't leave alone. And my mom and I had been switching off and kind of running shifts, so he was always under observation. And with them leaving, I have to watch him the whole time, which meant I really didn't have time to record this week. So before they left, I did all of my recordings in one day so that I didn't leave you guys hanging and didn't have, just a tweet saying, nope, no episodes this week of any of the series kind of thing. But in the counterweight to that is I didn't have the time to make them quite as progressive or polished. The other thing is, some of you have mentioned in this particular series, last week's episode was one of the ones that fell victim to this, that there have been some sound issues on my videos lately, where when the transitions would happen, they would start a little bit quiet and then kick back up to regular volume. I hope I fixed that. If I'm right, I think I've isolated the problem to one of the effects I use to cut out the background noise of my PC, which is the denoiser effect in Premiere. And I found that if you use according to an article I read, if you use an audio mixer to apply it to the whole track rather than all the videos, that doesn't happen. So I'm trying that out on all my episodes this week, and I need feedback from everybody if it seems like the problem's fixed, if it's created new ones, now things sound weird, or you pick up more other things, anything like that, just let me know. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's move on to the episode. So we're starting things off with the Kumo 1. And this little guy is actually deceptively really cool. Design-wise, it's kind of neat looking anyway. But as you may have already guessed, it's typically a bit smaller than ships I normally showcase, because I usually like interiors to move through and actually have a lot to look at or play around with. And small jeeps and fighters, they're good for a few minutes, but then there's not a whole lot for me to explore, and my episodes end up like really, really short. So I don't typically feature a lot of these smaller craft, but this one is actually really cool. First of all, we have... Actually, this is kind of a cool view in here. I'm guessing... Yeah, there it is. So we need to take control of the ship, and now we can actually move. Does it turn... Okay, so it turns like a tank with a head swivel turret type approach. But this actually has a lot of little features to it that's kind of cool. So we have a large atmospheric thruster. We have in the advanced rotor detach and reattach. There's an antenna, and there's Gatling guns on it. This, according to the description, can be outfitted for multiple purposes, but this particular one has been geared as a scout, hence why we have a couple of chain guns, but that's about it. It's not really geared for heavy weaponry. It can be used for different things, though. I guess there's a couple different ways you could outfit it. I believe the movement controls are done through the WAS script type thing. And actually it moves really, really cool and very smooth. But the whole real point to this, at least from what I can gather, is essentially it's very, very good for all-terrain type of thing, where you're going to be moving around on hills and other things such as that. Now, I don't remember if this particular world save had the... I don't remember if it has the damage turned off or not. so I'm trying to be a little bit careful. But as you can see, it moves very smoothly, and that's one complaint that I have had personally with ground vehicles in Space Engineers, is they typically tend to be kind of rough around the edges, and they control a bit jaggedly. And as I'm watching this, I'm starting to realize exactly why it moves so smooth. So from what I gather, from what I'm looking at, and I could be wrong about the script control actually, because from what I'm gathering, the wheels aren't actually doing anything other than keeping you balanced. The thrusters on each wheel push down to keep you grounded, but then your WASD keys are actually controlling the thrusters on the top part of the ship. So that's why it's actually moving really smooth. The bottom ones keep it grounded, but then your control and direction is up here, and then essentially the wheels are, it kind of seems like they're basically in neutral the whole time. So we are moving really fast for a ground vehicle, in my opinion. And this is probably the smoothest ground vehicle that moves this fast. In fact, I may actually end up using this blueprint in my own world or something as a scout vehicle, because this thing moves great. It really does. And, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, we're going to find out how this works. And we'll see really quick if the damage is off. I was doing good. I was doing really good. That's user error, though. Whee! Okay, so we've almost come to a complete stop. Now, I have to admit this, too. I just noticed this, but this is a really cool technique. Because the thrusters are facing towards the ground, when I flipped over, I think they're on override to where they're constantly pushing towards the ground. I think. And if that's true, when I flipped the ship over is actually why it flipped itself back over. Though that does confirm I do have damage off, so it may or may not have survived that in reality, because I was going pretty freaking fast to flip over. But that is still kind of a cool little touch, that if it manages to survive, it flips itself back over. Now, that is not actually the prime really, really interesting thing about the ship. You might have noticed the attach-reattach type thing. So, what we're actually going to do is this detaches the rotor from where the main little cockpit area is attached. So if we detach that and then hit 1 to turn on the main thruster, we can actually fly away in a flyable drone and leave the base entirely, which I think is amazing. It's like a drone within a rover kind of thing. So that's a really, really nice touch. I really like it, and it moves very, very well in this kind of environment as well. And then when you fly back down, now I don't know how exactly the snapping stuff works with the rotors. I've never really played with it before. But theoretically, when we get kind of close to the rotor and kind of lined up, I should be able to hit 7 and reattach it, and then turn the thruster off, and we are back driving again. So I really, really like this little rover thing. This is kind of addicting, and really, really cool. Though I would recommend being careful with hills, because apparently you can kind of go... I mean, I went far, look at that. That's where we came from over there. And I kind of went flying. Let me see, actually, if I can get back... I want to see thrust-wise... Gosh, we're going 62 meters. I really haven't had this much of a smooth driving experience with most vehicles, though. This will be a pressure test. Oh, no. We did a front flip and landed it. Oh, oh gosh. No, these would be really fun to race, actually, if you had one of those racetrack things. This would be really cool. Alright, so that's going to do it for this one. I could drive this thing around all afternoon. But I have other things to do, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have the Observer's Shadow. Now, I should preface this with it is a modded build, so you would need to... It's a blueprint, so you do have to download all the mods. This is a secondary version, though, so the description of this particular one is fairly light, because it links back to the original. I was actually going to use the original one until I found this one, because the original is a white, just an all-white color. And the other one that I found on the workshop was a green and black or something like that. I can't remember offhand, but it was very striking, and I personally wasn't a big fan of it, but then when I saw this version, I was like, ooh, I like that. And since I'm the one picking them, this is the one you're stuck with. But there is a couple other versions of this. Now, it was done for a competition, so there's no weapons and things like that, and it's not inherently practical. But the design is really, really cool looking. I think it's really neat. It looks especially cool if you were going to use it for some kind of like, I don't know, it could easily be used as some kind of alien ship, right? That doesn't follow some of the same design ideas and stuff, and you could definitely use it that way, which would be kind of cool. Now, as a, not just on the outside, but the interior is supposed to be relatively interesting as well. So let's see if we can't find, here's a door, but I don't know if it's the right door or not. I mean, I guess it's okay. Everything seems to be fine. We've got a conveyor system all hooked up and ready to go. Ooh, this is rather cool. I like this. Okay. So we got like this war room kind of thing where everybody can come to the meeting to figure out what's going on. What does this button do? I don't know. Let's try it. Ooh, it's spotlight. You know, it's so when you're trying to figure out how to fight your battles, you can shine a light on the topics. Okay, sorry. Let's move on. So this is an interesting idea too. I really, really like this. Is rather than having to go around the table, which you could, you just have to step up there. And so in game mechanics, you'd have to jump because for some reason you can't walk over a one block high thing without stutter stepping like I just did a second ago. But I really, really like this like railing ramp thing that's kind of open, so you can kind of see down beneath you, but then it also leads to the other command sections kind of thing, which is pretty cool. Though it does seem like to get through to the main bridge, you're supposed to go around the other way. So I'm not really sure, other than maybe like a CIC or something, what exactly this one's for. But it looks cool. I mean, it could be used for whatever you wanted, so it looks really neat, though. I definitely like all the screens. I'm kind of a screen nut, in case you hadn't figured it out already. You should have by now. I mean, good grief. But yeah, like this, it's like it doesn't know what to do, so you'd have to kind of jump. Which, that's not a design thing. That's a game thing. I blame that on a game thing. But yeah, and I don't know. Maybe there is an easier way to do it, and I'm just a derp. Well, we know that, but anyways, moving right along. What do we have here? Oh. Well, I'm sold. I mean, pretty much anybody who has watched my Inspiration series before, they know how much I love me a good rotating cockpit into some screens. Like, that's just amazing. I'm thinking that's for this, and this is the control. Here's light controls, because that's the priority, obviously. Ooh, I like it. Now, the only thing, I don't know how it would work, but the only thing that would make this a little bit cooler is if it actually extended forward and you kind of got squared up with the screen. Those are programmable blocks, so they won't actually display anything for the screen. So I can forgive it. It's fine. And then we remote control. I'm assuming now we have command of the ship. It would feel like. Okay. So how does she fly? Acceleration stuff is not bad. I don't know what class of ship this is really supposed to fall under without any weapons or anything. It's obviously not like a destroyer or anything. But overall, it moves pretty good in terms of acceleration, turning, that kind of thing. It's just not like a fighter jet, but it moves good. So yeah, overall, I just really like the uniqueness of it. Especially the exterior design. It was just very different and really cool. And I don't think it would be too hard to weaponize it either. I see some crevices and spaces where you could probably fit some rocket launchers and other things to make it more combat ready. One neat touch, I don't know how it would work because you'd have to remove these ramps along the window, but one cool touch would be to add, well, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, I don't know. Add, like the hangar door things or some kind of blast door mechanic would be kind of cool, but that would probably change the overall geometry of the ship, I'm imagining. So anyways, I think... Oh, there's... Wait. Is that the way I came in? Or is there one on the bottom? Oh, there's one on the bottom, too. Hold up. Hold on. Yeah, I know. I didn't rotate it right. It's just so satisfying. It's like, you know, weapon mode. So, where is this other door, I wonder? Oh, there it is. Okay. I didn't see that before. So there's a door there, and then there's also one here. Interesting. Well, that's good to know. Alright, so anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Let's move on to the last one. Okay, so last up we have the Interbus A-3900 luxury space yacht. Ha! I got it. I got it right. The only reason I got it right, I just looked at the description like moments before I pasted it into the world. But I got a name right. Yay! Mark it down in the history books. History in the making here, folks. So, as the name implies, it is a luxury yacht. It's fairly self-explanatory. The only real cool part that separates it from the rest of the yachts, it's a space yacht. Which, I mean, let's just be honest. Who doesn't want one of those? So, at the moment, just at a glance, one of my favorite parts about this is the actual luxury side of it. It kind of reminds me of a small cruise ship, which is, you know, some of the yachts and stuff were kind of like either supposed to be in an atmosphere and stuff, which is fine, but this one actually has that cruise liner kind of vibe look to it. Now, there is one little caveat to this, and that is, by default, the lighting and scripts are turned off to avoid lag issues. So, first we should make... Oh, look at that! It's got little, like, menu screens. Oh my gosh! That's awesome! It's got their own, like, little frickin' advertisement stuff. This is great. I love that kind of crap. Did they... Ah! I gotcha. That's cool. That's cool. We all know what that's supposed to be. But... Alright, so that's the core. Looking for the bridge. We'll do the rest of the ship, because I normally leave the bridge for last, so I can look at this, though. This is so cool. You got the lights, and the glass, and the... it's just cool. Engineers needed. Join us on the Tartarus colony. That's funny. Okay, occupied cryo chambers. Wait, is this the cryo chambers? I thought this would be the bridge. Ah, the bridge. Haha. Oh, that's cool. They've got like all the different, some various different things. That's neat. And we got a bunch of information on these screens over here. Does this tell me anything I need to know? No. Jump drive information. So this does utilize hydrogen, ion, and atmospheric thrusters. So theoretically, I don't know. It didn't mention anything about the transitional systems or anything, but in theory, it would actually be able to transfer between different atmospheric states. So there should be buttons for the scripts and lights. Here we go. Lights, 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 lights. Good. So that's on hotbar 4. More lights. Timer, reload server, emergency ceiling, hangar open. I don't know if I'm supposed to run all of these at once. Or, wait, no, LCD managers, micro, flight assist, airlock control. Actually, I may not mess with these at all. I may just turn the lights on. Because none of them are particularly anything I need, like, to show off anything. They seem more functional than anything else. So, we may... Let me just double check here. Reload servers. Let's try that one, at least. That may reboot everything. Emergency ceiling we don't need. Hangar open we don't need. Hangar closed we don't need. LCD manager, that seems to be already running. Micro LCD manager probably also running. Timer, flight assist, airlock control. Yeah, we're gonna leave that off. This says booting up, so that should boot, well, everything up. Yeah. That's so cool too. I love that that script actually works. Like, it has its own loading bar. That's so great. I love it. Okay, so obviously we've got some consoles here that are giving us our information. We've got our co-pilot navigator type person over there. We've got system readouts for dampeners and things. What does this button do? Oh, reload servers. Well, there you go. Acceleration, hydrogen tanks, good stuff. Okay, so now we've got the lights and everything running. We can kind of... I'm probably supposed to use an airlock script and buttons, but I don't really care. I'm a rebel in creative mode. So what do we got here? Medbay. Could not be any more plain. What do we got here? I don't know. What's that symbol mean? Let's just move on. Someone's reading up on their medical ethics. That's a good thing. Good thing for a doctor to be reading up on their medical ethics. I just wish they kind of knew them. So we have a bed here. And you know, I was getting some crap in the last episode, admittedly from myself as well, for not knowing the difference between a desk and a bed. But I want to point out that when you're doing vanilla building, the typical trend at this point, they used almost the same mechanics for a desk as a bed. It's not my fault, I swear. Alright, so we got cryo chambers there, med bay there. Good. Need gas? We have it. That's awesome. I love those little advertisements. It's so great. Alright, so this looks like... See, that's a couch. Plain as day. I can tell. I got an eye for this stuff. And a table. Actually, that's kind of cool. How'd they do that? So 2 inverted ramps back to back and then a screen. That's cool. Oh, and then they painted the screen color. You smart people. So we have the TV mode. Okay. Cool. I'm liking it. All hands on deck. Wage war on the Polaris fleet. Apparently they're our enemy. We got a bed with a TV. The best kind of bed. Got some shelf stuff. So I'm not sure if this is a person's quarter, like a captain's quarter or something, or if this is just one of the rooms. I'm not too sure on that front. It just gives me the time. It doesn't say, like, rooms or anything. Considering its location and stuff, I can't see it being just a... That's gotta be, like, the captain's quarters or something, right? Because it's right next to the bridge. I don't know. Most everything had a sign. I don't see a sign for this one, though. You know me, I need signs. Things need to be pointed out, like desks and things. You know, just saying. Okay, shower, I'm guessing. And a bunk system, yeah, with a TV and a desk. And a kitchenette. See? Kitchenette, not a fireplace. I think the other one was a fireplace in the last episode. I got that wrong too. It's not my fault. These things aren't labeled. I'm not an engineer. I just play one on YouTube. So yeah, this is the crew quarter type thing. Or not crew, but maybe just passenger type thing. I don't know, it could be the crew quarters. Alright. Oh! We have a pool. What? Space yacht is complete without a pool. And I do like this. This, honestly, would be like my dream come true in a spaceship. Is the luxury kind of lifestyle with the glass to be able to just look out into space. It feels like you're out in the open, but obviously you're not, because, you know, you're breathing. So this would be amazing. I would love this. I would admit, I'd be a little freaked out every now and again when you realize you're looking at space. Like, yeah, we've discussed that before. You know, I mean, you get a crack in that window. Yeah. That pool is, not so fun anymore. Actually, I'm pretty sure over the years of me playing on Space Engineers and derping up and misspeaking and stuff, pretty sure it's established I'm no science expert by any stretch. But if I'm guessing correctly, I have a feeling that pool would turn very cold very quickly. Because I don't know if it would actually suck the water out or just turn it to ice. I'm not really sure. Or turn it to ice as it sucks it out. I'm not real clear on that. That was the hangar, by the way. I was kind of talking about pool mechanics in space. Got a little sidetracked there. Okay, we got ore detectors, and those are the upgrade modules, so I'm assuming behind them is assemblers or refineries or some such, unless these are just there for decoration, which they may be because they're red. and if they're red, they're not normally attached correctly. So the core. Dun dun dun. So we have a beacon, gravity generator, looks like some reactors, a remote control, obviously the programmable block cores, more reactors, lots of reactors actually. Okay. Also gives us location data. And this... oh, this brings us back out to the main area. Okay, cool. So let's take a look out here since we actually have all the lights on. So this seems like the common dining area, like this would be your buffet kind of thing, and this is the seating area. Loving the sun loungers. Like, seriously, space loungers. How cool is that? Like, I don't know about any of you guys, but if you've ever been on a cruise before, the idea of a cruise ship in space, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, that's pretty cool. We got the kitchen over here. Very nice, very nice. Now, it is important to remember, I keep referring to like a cruise ship. This is a yacht, so it's kind of like a small cruise ship. Okay, so here's the crew quarters, actually. Alright, so here's my guess. We know these are the crew quarters. I'm pretty sure the other ones are staterooms for the passengers, and then that, I'm almost positive, makes that one that we were in before the captain's cabin. I'm almost sure. But without the lack of, or with the lack of a sign, you know, I'm not going to say for sure. So we have a hangar here, a hangar door here. What's this do? Cargo bay. Really now? Okay. I guess... oh, it's the access point to the cargo bay. I thought they were concealing the cargo bay. And I was like, that's a mean cargo bay. Hey, Jimmy, go out to the cargo bay. What for? You know, just jump through the door as it's opening. So, yeah, that's the access point, I guess. Probably crew or maintenance access, maybe, to this as the cargo bay, because I am blind and did not see all these storage crates behind me before I opened the door. Yeah. So, yeah, so this is kind of cool. It's a very cozy, but it works well. It feels like something you could see in a ship liner type of thing. Okay, so this is the bottom level. Now, I'm getting a little turned around here, so let's double check and see what we have and have not explored. Went that way, I think. Went up this way and through this way. Okay, we did go this way. Yeah, because that's the bridge. Alright. I'm getting my bearings again. Just wanting to make sure we're not missing anything. I don't think we did, actually. For once. I think we actually covered most everything. And then this goes down-ish. No ups. Okay, good. And then this brings us back out, around, and down. Through, yeah, through the hangar. Yep. We're good, people. We did not go down here, so let's do that. Just... so we have a docking port there, or a connector there, and two there. I like the ambiance, too. The color palette for the lights and things like that is a really good choice for this kind of stuff. Industrial areas feel industrial, and the luxury areas feel luxurious. So I really do think the color palette and stuff was well done in that regard. It's fairly easy to spot what's what. Well, obviously not that easy for me, but color-wise it's easy to identify what's supposed to be like a engineering area and what's the regular. Alright, so let's try flight controls here. Now, I'm not messing with anything, so anything that comes, like, what is this stuff? I guess this is overrides, to force them to go a certain speed. I don't really know, to be honest. Alright, so turning and speed and everything is a little slow, but again, for something like this, you wouldn't really be expecting it to be real crazy fast or maneuverable. It's supposed to be a slow-moving luxury vessel. It does have landing gears on the bottom with connectors and stuff for docking with like stations or planets or whatever, and it's far as weaponry go, I think the description said it has the 2 Gatling guns, one on each, or Gatling turrets, one on each side, and then I think there's a couple interior turrets, but that's about it. We also have a connector up there with a walkway. Wait a minute. Does that have a door? Does that go in somewhere, or does that just go off the back? I'm trying to figure out where you would go in if you landed there. I don't really know, actually. I don't see any door anywhere. Alright, so anyways, I think that's going to wrap this one up, as well as this episode, so we're gonna call it quits here. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.